to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my favorite grungy eyeshadow palettes in my collection. I love grungy color stories. They're probably my favorite color story that has ever been created in the history of eyeshadow palettes. I just love them. And I actually got this idea from another creator. Her name is Steff. Her channel name is Steff's Beauty Stash. I will have her channel and her video linked in my description box. She did this not very long ago, and I went cuckoo over the palettes that she showed. She had such beautiful grungy palettes. And I thought, you know what? Why have I never done this on my channel before? Now, I was only going to show you 10, but I ended up with 11 because there was just one that I just could not put back on the shelf. So I'm kind of breaking my own rules here, and I'm going to show you 11 grungy eyeshadow palettes rather than 10. So I'm going to show you these 11 palettes right now. So let's get started. Okay, the first one I'm going to show you is the BH Cosmetics Smitten in Switzerland palette. And you might not think this is grungy, but let's look at it together, shall we? Now, don't you see the grunge here? I see the grunge here. We have a lot of like kind of earthy tones, even this blue, it's kind of a murky, dark blue. Yes, we do have some lighter tones that I don't know would be considered grunge, but I think on the whole, this is a nice grungy palette. Even the shade here, kind of burgundy, but it's kind of a smoky burgundy. Yeah. And I love the olive here, the black, the brown, even this bright orange shade I think could be considered grunge. I mean, you don't have to have just dark, murky shades for it to be grungy. I think this does kind of complement the grungier shades in here. So it's kind of just all in one, a grungy palette. I just think it's gorgeous. I love the quality of this palette, the formula, it's amazing. And I haven't used this in a while, but when I do use it, I love the looks that I can create, and you can create a lot of different beautiful grungy looks with this baby. The next is another BH Cosmetics palette. This is the Avocado Toast. And this to me is extremely grungy, but green grungy, which I love. We have kind of like the darker olivey green tones that I think make a really good grungy color story. This shade here, it's called Extra. It is my favorite shimmer in this palette. It's very multi-dimensional. It's kind of like a brown to green flip. And Andy from Andy Does Stuff, she and I did a palette bingo collab with this baby, and I loved both of our looks, and we used this shade called Extra. And oh, it was so I loved it. It just goes on beautifully. It looks amazing on the lid. You have all these other different options you can choose from. Very grungy. You know, yes, there are some kind of brighter shimmers in here, but I think you can still have a grungy look with some bright shimmers. And to me, this is just avocado grunginess at its finest. Now, the next palette I'm going to show you will not surprise you if you have been watching my channel for any length of time. And this is the Nomad from Juvia's Place. Now, this is my favorite Juvia's Place palette, because of the fact that it's so grungy. It's beautiful. The olive, the kind of olivey brown, the dark brown, this beautiful dark brown shimmer, this gold shimmer, this matte, even though the sparkles don't really stick around on your lid, I love it. I love these shades too. I just think this is the perfect example of what a true grungy color story really is. I love the formula, I love the quality, I love the packaging, I love everything there is to love about this palette. It is fabulous. Then I have the Makin Bank palette from Morphe. That's so hard for me to say. And I think this is a beautiful grungy color story too. Now, I haven't used this a whole lot. I think I've used this 2 or 3 times. And I really like the formula. I know that Morphe is not everybody's favorite brand, but I really love this color story. I saw this quite a while ago on their website, and I don't know, I just fell in love with the color story, and I felt like because I love grungy palettes so much, I just had to have this. And I really do like it. You know, there is some kind of lighter tones in here, but like I said, I think you can have lighter tones in a grungy palette. I really do, because I think it just kind of rounds out the whole look. And then you have options to kind of blend things out with, you know, it just kind of makes foot and eye look together a little easier. But this shade right here, this kind of like goldish olive shimmer is just grunge perfection. This one even here is really pretty. It's kind of like a light green to gold flip. It's really, really pretty. And yes, we do have this color here, but it's, you know, kind of a grungy mustard color. You know, it's not bright yellow. It's just kind of grunge yellow, in my opinion. So yeah, I think this is a lovely grungy color story. Great little palette. Love it. The next palette is the Makeup Revolution Courage Wild Animal palette. I love the packaging. It's so cute. And I think this is a really nice grungy color story. Yes, we do have some kind of like wine shades in here, maybe lighter pinks, pinky, kind of dusky pinks though. So to me, that does say grunge. This is a really nice quality palette. I know that Makeup Revolution is not everybody's favorite, kind of like Morphe isn't either, but I have a lot of Makeup Revolution palettes that I really enjoy using, and this is one of them. This is one of probably my top 5 Makeup Revolution palettes that I have in my collection. I just really like how this performs. I love the little animal imprints on the shades. I think that's super cute. And yeah, I think this shade here is very grungy. This is grungy. These two are grungy. These are grungy. So, you know, you have a lot of grungy options here. And even though we do have like these kind of lighter pinks in this burgundy shade, I think in conjunction with the other shades, it does make it a very nice grungy palette. Then we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Jackie Aina palette. And this has some really nice grungy options in here, I think. And this shade here, sponsored, this green, kind of greenish brown shimmer, I think is probably the grungiest shade in the palette. It is so beautiful. This one here, this gold shimmer called Douala's, and if you've watched any of my past videos where I've used this palette, you understand my deep infatuation with the shade name Douala's. I love saying that, but I just think it's a really nice gold grungy shimmer. This shade here, Edges, is really nice. This shade called Ginger, very grungy. Even the purple shades are grungy because they're kind of, I think, a little bit more murkier, a little more of an edge to them. And so yeah, I do think this is a really nice grungy color story for the most part. I do think there's quite a bit of grunge in here. I do. Then we have the Boudoir Noir from Colourpop. And this might be maybe a little bit lighter grunge, I guess you could say. I mean, these aren't super deep tones except for this one here. There's some, you know, kind of brighter shades in here too. But this gold shade says grunge to me. This olivey green shade says grunge to me. This whole row says grunge to me. And even some stuff up here too. I love using this palette. The gold shade in here, it's called Sleep In. It's so pretty. It's just very vibrant, but yet has this kind of like deepness to it too. And I just think it's lovely. I really do. I think this is a beautiful, maybe lighter grungy palette. And I really enjoy using this. The next palette I'm going to show you is no longer available, but if I'm going to talk about my best or favorite grungy palettes in my collection, I had to include this. This is the Colored Rain Safari Rain palette. And I'm just brokenhearted that this is no longer available. I don't know why brands do that. Like with Juvia's Place in the Tribe, like why would you take away a palette that is so beautiful and so amazing that not everybody got their hands on? But this is just a stunning grungy color story. There's so many different options in here. You can go by rows, you can mix and match. It's just a really fun palette to play with. And I don't use this enough. Part of the reason is I love it so much, and I have this weird thing in my head where if I really love a palette, I just want to keep it like pristine and just the way it is. So silly. But I'm so happy that I have this. And if you have this, good on you, because this is just a beautiful grungy palette. And I really hope maybe someday this will come back. Then I chose the America's Parks palette from Nomad Cosmetics. And I think this would be considered a more bright grungy palette because we do have some like brighter shades in here. But on the lid, in combination with several different shades here, when you create a look with this, I do believe you do get a true grungy eye look. I love the quality of Nomad Cosmetics palettes. I know I've said that a lot on my channel, but they are just beautiful. I've used this palette, not enough. Again, I have that weird quirk where I'm just like, oh, this is so pretty. I don't want to like ruin it or use it all up. I'm never going to use it all up. I have too many eyeshadow palettes to use this thing all up, unless I did like a panning project or something. But this is gorgeous. And I'm pretty sure this is still available on the Nomad Cosmetics website. I've stayed off that website for a while now because it's dangerous. I could just go crazy buying all their palettes because they're so beautiful. I love the quality, the formula. I have several Nomad Cosmetics palettes. I love all of them equally. Pretty much, I would say. I mean, well, that's not true because I'm going to show you another palette here that I think I love the most out of all of my Nomad Cosmetics palettes. But anyway, back to this one. It's beautiful. I love it. It's got a lot of different options in here. The greens are really what have my heart, but you do have some kind of murkier greens in here, which I really like. And if you pair them with these brown shades, I think you have a perfect grungy look. So yes, this to me is a wonderful, beautiful, bright, grungy eyeshadow palette. The next palette is the Nomad Cosmetics Berlin Underground palette. And I have gone berserk over this palette multiple times on my channel. I have done 2 collabs with this palette, one with Dion from Dion Loves Makeup and one with Andy from Andy Does Stuff. And I thoroughly enjoy this palette. I think really this is my favorite Nomad Cosmetics palette. It might actually be my favorite grungy palette in my collection. Probably in my top 3 to 5 palettes. I mean, the quality and the formula is impeccable. And the color story is just beautiful to me. It's so grungy and deep, but yet it's got like some bright options too. You can do so many different things with this. It's very dimensional. I just have had a blast creating looks with this palette. It's not available. And I don't know, do brands ever bring palettes back that they discontinued? I don't think they do, but God, I would love for them to bring this palette back. And I would love for everybody who loves grungy palettes that doesn't have this yet to get it, because it's just wonderful. I love this palette. The last palette I'm going to show you is the Giant Wolves palette from Odens in collaboration with the Nets Makeup Corner. Now at first I wasn't convinced that this was truly a grungy color story, but the more I looked at it, the more I was convinced that yes, it is. Now these two shades here are very grungy in my opinion. We have this beautiful gold shimmer and this very kind of olivey brown shade. This green shade is definitely grungy. These shades here are too. This one even, it's kind of got that like murky purpley blue shift to it. Now these four, I don't know if I would consider those necessarily grungy. They're a little bit too pink and blue to be considered grungy, I would say. And this one here too, this has kind of got like a yellow to pink to blue flip to it. So is that really considered grungy? I don't know. But these shades right in here, they say grunge to me, baby. Oh yes, they do. This palette is so amazing. I'm so glad I got this. I wasn't going to get it at first because I thought, well, you're probably not going to get it because it's going to sell out. I got it on a Black Friday sale. The shimmers in this palette are life-altering. They are so beautiful. I really think you would love having this palette. I know I do. And yeah, I really need to try some more palettes from Odens. I don't need to. I don't need to. Need is not the word, but want, definitely. I want to try more Odens palettes. So those were the 11 palettes that have my favorite grungy color stories in them. I just love them so much. They're so beautiful. I just love grungy eyeshadow palettes. And I would love to know if you guys have any of these palettes and what you think of them. I would also like to know what your favorite grungy palettes are. What grungy color stories just do it for you? I would love to talk about that in the comments section. And like I said, I did get this video idea from Steff, from Steff's Beauty Stash. I will have her channel and her video linked in my description box. You guys need to go to her channel right away, subscribe, and watch her videos. You are going to love her just as much as I love her. She is absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed, you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video, but in the meantime, please take care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I cannot wait to see you guys again very soon. Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Bye.
Drop it.